Hi everyone, this is Teo from powerblocks.com. Today I want to show you the Bosto tablet. This particular one, this one is called the Bosto 14WX. This is a pen digitizer tablet monitor. What that means is that you can draw on this monitor using a stylus. So this is the stylus provided, and you can use it to draw on the monitor screen itself. And this is a battery, it doesn't use any battery, so it's batteryless. And this is what you would consider a Cintiq alternative. So the Cintiq is also something like this, a screen, a monitor that you can draw on. The size for this particular one is in 14 inches. So it competes directly with the Cintiq 13HD that is currently on the market right now. 14 inches is just about 1 inch larger than the Wacom Cintiq. So let me just show you what this the different parts of the monitor, since I have the monitor powered up already. The screen itself is glossy. You can see that it's pretty glossy. But when you use the stylus to draw on the screen itself, it's quite smooth, and I would say the feel is quite good. There are 10 shortcut buttons on the front, each 10 on each side, so it's a total of 20. Let me zoom in closer. Yep, so the buttons are here. So 10 buttons on each side, and there's the scroll wheel. All these buttons you can assign certain functions or button presses to them. The strange thing is, out of the 10 buttons, only the top 4 and the bottom 4 works. So the button closer to the scroll wheel does not work. The scroll wheel itself is a rubber, and it's quite dampened, so it doesn't run easily. I kind of like it, so you can control your zoom in or zoom out, which are the functions that are assigned to the scroll wheel. You can control that quite easily. So after there's nothing much on the front except for the brand here, Bosto. It's a China-made brand. Let me show you the back. I have already attached the cables. Oops. This is the, let me just talk about different parts. So we have rubber feet, the 7.5 cm VESA mount if you want to mount it. But this tablet is small enough for me to put on the table, so I don't think it's necessary to mount this particular tablet. Then there are the feet. You can see it. The feet that will help you prop up your tablet so that you can draw it at an incline level. There are two levels. One is the big feet, and then we have the smaller feet. So these are the different ports. The ports are on top, and so the cables come out from the back when you're drawing. Let me show you the ports. Two USB ports. For some reason, only one of the USB port is working for me. So my computer can only detect the monitor using one of the port. Then we have the power, we have the VGA port, and then this is the DVI port. So the cables are provided, and the screen resolution for this guy is about 108p. So that's the screen resolution. And right here, the design for this overall is quite good. It's quite sturdy. It's a hard plastic, and one design flaw I would guess is the situation where the location of the menus. So after you plug in the USB port, you can see that the menu buttons are being blocked by the wire because the menus are just behind. But it's not really a problem, because after you finish setting your settings, you are likely, at least for me, I don't go back to the menus, don't use those buttons anymore. So that's all there is to the back. Oh, there's one thing here. is this one. This is the pen slot for the stylus pen. Let me show you. You can basically put it inside here. So you even have a groove for the pen clip as well. So you can just put it inside. Okay, let's show you the performance of the tablet. Okay, I'm using the Mac OS 10.9.5 currently, and I installed the drivers that I downloaded from Bosto's website. It works fine for this Mac OS 10.9.5, but I'm not able to get the tablet to work on my other computer, which is using Mac OS 10.10. So this is something to take note of. If you are using Windows, I would say Windows is better supported for synthetic alternatives like this. So it's usually the Mac OS that has problems with drivers, and in this case the drivers are working perfectly fine for me, so I can just basically just draw on it and detects the stylus as well as the tablet well. Now the first time you plug in the tablet monitor to your computer, it will automatically show you resize the resolution to fit the tablet, and you can also adjust that in your settings also. But let me just show you some of the settings provided by the tablet. There are two drivers actually. One driver is for you to set shortcut keys to the shortcuts on the physical shortcuts on the monitor. The other set of drivers is basically to control your stylus, the pressure, and how to map your screen and stuff like that. So one set of drivers is for the buttons, the other set of drivers is for the stylus. Let me show you the drivers for the, let me see, buttons. Okay, so just now I said that there are 10 buttons on each side, but inside this particular settings preferences, you can only see 8 buttons. So only the top 4 and bottom 4 are good. And you can set key presses, modify keys, mouse clicks, show desktop, run or open applications, or you can unassign them. So I set my key press for, oops, accidentally pressed something. So I set the first 2 buttons for key presses, which is Command A to select all, and the second button I assign it to a delete function. You can assign the wheel as well. The tablet driver, this is the tablet driver. So the tablet driver, when I first started using this stylus, the stylus is a bit sensitive, so I basically set it to a hard setting so that I can apply more pressure, just to get it to make it more comfortable when I'm drawing the field, make it feel more natural that way. So I like it to be not so sensitive, so that I need to press harder to get a thicker stroke. Now there are not a lot of settings here, basically just 4 tabs. Okay, let's fire up Photoshop and see how it does. Okay, so this is an IPS panel screen, so that means that the viewing angle for this is quite wide and the color doesn't change when you tilt the monitor in different degrees. So that is a very good added advantage for this monitor, especially if you want to tilt your monitor frequently or you're working on a VESA mount that's mounted behind. So let me just try and open up Photoshop. Okay, and Illustrator. So let me go Photoshop again. Create a new file. Okay, increase, rotate 90 degrees. Okay, I can zoom. Basically, let me show you the scroll wheel first. So you can use the scroll wheel to basically zoom in and out Just now I have already assigned the keyboard shortcuts to the buttons on the side. So the top one is select all, and then the second one is delete. So that's those are the two things that I use frequently. Let me just show you some of the strokes in Photoshop first. Just some quick lines or slow lines if you want to see. There's virtually no lag that I can detect, so the strokes appear directly under the stylus. There's no lag whatsoever. The screen, I think, is about... The screen has some thickness to it, so there's going to be parallax, but it's not an issue because the screen itself is small, and the parallax only happens when your stylus is at the side. So when you're looking, when your head is somewhere here and you're looking there, so that's where you get a parallax. But when I'm drawing, I don't really... It's not really an issue that bothers me because that's just the way it is. Oops. Let me... Okay, so just now, let me just write some letters. So I've already set the pressure sensitive of the pen to the hardest, so I need to press like very hard to get the strokes. But you might probably can see that it detects the stylus quite well, so I can draw thin lines very nicely. There's no jitter that I can... Maybe let me just zoom in a bit closer so they can see the lines clearly. Okay, let me go to the brush mode and brush. Oops, why? Okay, so if I draw the strokes, a bit slow. I think I'm not very good at controlling the pressure yet, so... Oops. Let me just use the zoom wheel, it's easier. So when you're drawing, when I'm drawing the slow strokes, I think it's a bit difficult to control the pressure. But this is something that happens to me on the Wacom as well. Just that when you're going through, it's very hard to keep a constant amount of pressure to it. So this is, I'm trying to do some quick strokes. You can see just how smooth their performance is, as well as the smoothness of the lines. There's no jitter whatsoever. Do maybe a thinner line, so you can use this for cross-hatching as well. And I think in the performance in Photoshop is pretty much there. It's very predictable. There's no stray strokes or stuff like that. So I can always get the lines where I want them, and they always end where I want them as well. It does take some time to get used to the pressure curve, but after you get used to it, I think it's pretty natural. It will come second. Drawing with it will feel pretty natural. So this is the Bosto 14WX. Oops, WX. Yep. So let's go into Illustrator and see what happens there. Sometimes I draw in Adobe Illustrator as well. The zoom function of the scroll wheel also works here. Let me get a brush. Okay, maybe a thicker brush. Not sure if the pressure sensitivity works here. Let's try. This pressure 15 points. Okay. Let's try again. Sometimes you get stray strokes. I have not touched the screen yet, but you can see that there's this dot here already. So sometimes you get the stray strokes. I think, see, I'm not touching the screen, but sometimes you get the stray strokes. That's something to take note of, because when you're drawing in Illustrators, some of these stray strokes they may appear very small, so it's very hard to detect. But in this case, I chose a thick brush. So let me go with the thin and thick. So I've already set the brush to be pressure sensitive, so I can draw very thin and thick very easily. Again, the performance is very smooth, and Illustrator, they actually smooth out the curve even a bit more, so I think it's very nice. This is one of the applications that I use to draw quite a lot as well. So let me just show you just a quick doodle again. Very it performs very predictably, so it's very good. And previously I've reviewed another monitor called the Bosto 22 HDX. Apparently that driver did not work very well, but this time around on this 14WX, it's very good. It works very more predictably, and even though that sometimes there's this stray strokes going on, but it's not really a big deal because I don't have that problem I don't face that problem quite a lot. Again, some Illustrator strokes. Let me try some slow and quick strokes. Again, no lag at all, and also the lines are, of course, this is Illustrator, so the lines will be smooth. Okay, so I think that's about all. Okay, that's about all for the review. I'm pleasantly surprised by the performance of this particular model, the 14WX. That's because I had a much lousier experience with the 22HDX on the Mac OS, and currently I'm using Mac OS 10.9.5, and the driver works well with this particular tablet. One thing I want to say also is that with Adobe Illustrator, just now I'm using the brush inside Illustrator, but if you want to use if you want to create vector artwork like those clicking of the anchor points, well, the screen may be a bit too small because it's only 14-inch. The anchor points, those little square dots, may be a bit difficult to click on on this small screen, but that's to be expected from a smaller screen. One thing that I like about this tablet is that it's really light, so right now I'm just holding it with one hand, and it's really compact as well, maybe about the weight of a heavy laptop. But you can, because it's so compact, you can put it inside your bag and bring it to your office or your school to draw. This actually comes with a carrying case as well, so that's pretty nice. And remember that you can put your pen behind the slot here when you are transporting the tablet around. Overall construction, the build quality I would say is quite good. I cannot compare it to a Wacom Cintiq because I don't use that very often, but this guy is a few $100s cheaper, and it performs basically the same function as the Wacom Cintiq. So for me, I think this is a pretty attractive deal, especially if you don't have the budget to buy the Cintiq. So you can save a few $100s with this. I think that's about all for this review. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask them in the comment section below this video. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'll be posting more art product reviews in the future, as well as videos on sketching. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.